What's up guys, Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Secret Invasion Season 1, Episode 5, Harvest. This one's just kind of a setup for the finale. It does feel a little bit more like Nick Fury by the end of it, but it still is not the same. I will say, once again, we did kind of try to go back into the emotional romantic story between Fury and Priscilla. Still don't really feel it. They're really trying to push it as if this is really some special thing, and again, you haven't really given us much time to appreciate it. She's not a character we've known. You can't really force that in 2 or 3 episodes. It's not possible. Most of your audience is not going to feel it. Maybe you get a couple who really just fall right into it because they hear some of what's being said. Maybe they connect to it in their own way. You'll get a few of those. But for a majority of the audience, we're sitting here, we're not connected to this story. We don't really care about their romance. We don't really care about Priscilla because we just met her. So yeah, I don't feel like they've done a good job with that. Really wish we had gotten more time with this show overall. And granted, how some of the writing and editing is gone, maybe I'm glad that we didn't get more episodes. But that's where I don't think they've given themselves enough time with a lot of these different stories. You know, for Talos' death, this is a character we saw, in the movie for Captain Marvel, and clearly he and Fury formed this good bond, but we didn't get to see much of it. They talked about it a little bit, and then they had the big blow up, which then kind of ruined that bond and the story they were building there. And then they get back together for an episode, and then he's dead by the end of it. So it just doesn't feel like they're really pacing themselves very well with the show. Again, some of that is probably down to the fact that they didn't get that many episodes, but why not? Why do we want to rush ourselves for so many of these shows? Why not take your time, build up a story? Or even if you're not going to get that much time, if you've only got 6 episodes, then streamline it a little bit. We don't have to focus so much on this harvest thing. We don't have to focus so much on Fury being washed up. We don't have to focus so much on this romance between him and Priscilla. Take some time in some of your other stories. You've already got Fury coming back because of Gravik and his plans. You've got him working with Talos. You got Talos in Gaia. You've got that already, and you got the idea of the Skrulls implementing themselves into society and living among us. You've already got all of these ideas that you could really utilize and make very interesting. And then they want to throw these other ideas on top of it. You just don't have that much time. I feel like this was just either a miscommunication where maybe they thought they had more time, they wrote all this stuff, and then Disney came and said, hey, you've got 6 episodes, make it work. Or maybe this was just we don't have that many ideas with our main plot, so we'll throw on a couple other ideas and we'll rush through those to have just a bunch of stuff. We'll throw it up at the wall, see what sticks. Maybe some people will resonate with some stories, maybe they'll resonate with others. But you can't try to fit all this together and expect it all to work because you just don't have that kind of time, unfortunately. So, yeah, it really doesn't work, this episode. Not as bad as the last one. I mean, there weren't really any major fight scenes. There was just the one with Priscilla and Gaia at Priscilla's home. I mean, thankfully it wasn't as poorly edited as the last episode, but it still was not that interesting to watch. Very quick cuts, a lot of shooting, a lot of boom, 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 and pow, pow, pow. Just not much there. But like I said at the end of the last episode, I'm just kind of here just to see how it ends and just to say that I watched it because I really don't have much interest in how this is going to come to an end. I know that Fury's going to find a way to best Gravik. I don't know how. I don't know what he's got planned. I don't know who he's talking to on the phone. I kind of hope that we see Rhodey at the end of all of this. We kind of find out when he got changed, because that would be kind of interesting to see. I don't know. I hate the fact that a lot of these shows just lose my interest halfway through because I want to be invested, but I'm just not. So with all that being said, on to the season finale. I'll see you there. And now episode 6, Home. Where do I even begin with this shit show? Oh my god. I mean, obviously I already talked about I wasn't that big of a fan of how this episode just went and crushed any sort of enjoyment that I had for the show. I'm going to look back and remember this episode and go, my god, this show sucked. Because, okay, I guess I'll start first of all with the harvest. First of all, the fact that it exists, it's kind of already stupid. The fact that Fury would go and do this, already kind of stupid. The fact that it works the way that it does. I mean, first of all, the whole extremist mixed with Groot DNA, mixed with all of that, the fact that it worked the way it did was already kind of weird. But I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe Skrulls are just different. Maybe they're such... They threw in this Avengers thing, and now all of a sudden you can just shapeshift into the different Avengers. and now all of a sudden you can just use all their powers. Because that's how that works, right? Like, I know Skrulls can shapeshift, I get that. So you take that and you add the idea of the Avengers, what would that be like? Well, clearly, according to the show, you can just become them and just do whatever they can do, which makes basically Gaia the most powerful being in existence right now. Because they already talked about how Captain Marvel is the most powerful being in existence. Well, now it's Gaia, because not only does she have her powers, she has everybody's powers. I mean, hell, you can even use Ebony Maw's powers somehow. I know he's a magician, so you would think you would have to be able to use magic, but no, you just have his DNA and you can use magic. That's how that works, guys. Don't you know? What? And also, the plan was just, let's send Gaia in. Let's hope this dumbass Gravik is stupid enough to let Fury be in the machine with him. How did he know Fury wasn't gonna get some power boost? I know, again, it's probably coming from the mindset of, well, Skrulls can absorb the DNA, they could shapeshift and all of that, so a human probably wouldn't. But how do you know? How do you know a human wouldn't get a power boost of some kind that could stop you? That was already kind of dumb. But the fact that, so it's Gaia that's there doing this. Now basically the plan is you let both of them get this DNA. You hope, first of all, that she can beat him in a fight. Second of all, that he can actually be killed with all of this DNA that he has now. And third of all, that after she's done, she's going to be okay with just, I'm not going to do anything wrong with these powers. Because honestly, she's not shown to be the best character. She's not shown to be the most noble person. So you give somebody like that all of these powers, how do you know she's not going to use them for something awful? How do you know she's not going to look at it and go, you know what? Kind of sick of the way things were being handled. I'm going to do things my own way. I'm going to use these powers and nobody can stop me. How do you know for sure? It's such a risky move. So that plan's stupid. The fact that both Fury and what's-her-face, Sonya, the fact that both of them have Rhodes captured and they're trying to convince the president to stop the nuclear strike and all of that. The fact that it took so long. All I could sit there the entire time thinking was, just shoot Rhodey. Just shoot him. Just shoot him. Just shoot him. What? Why are we not shooting him? Like, for Fury, it's one thing, because he doesn't have a gun. Okay. The president's got his gun trained on him. Okay. Sonya, shoot him. Like, she has shown nothing but a willingness to be ruthless and very straightforward. I was just expecting her to just be like, oh my god, this is taking too long, and just shoot him. And then he turns into a Skrull, and the president goes, oh, okay. But no, we had to wait, and then eventually Rhodey steals the gun from her, which causes Fury to shoot him, and then the president goes, oh, okay. That was always the option. That was always the case. You could have done that from the get-go and said, look, he was a Skrull. Look at what he's trying to tell you to do. But no, we got to sit here and have this tense scene where, guys, the nuke's about to be shot off. Oh, are they going to stop it in time? You don't need to manufacture this ticking clock. Just do what any normal person in that moment would do. The only interesting thing that comes out of that is we do see Rhodey. He gets taken off of his little machine and he can't walk. I do kind of wonder at what point, if you go back and you watch, at what point did he start walking without any assistance? Because I guess at that point you could say that's when the Skrulls replaced him. Or even when he started walking at all. Like, I don't know for sure. We know he was going through his rehab after the events of Civil War. But who knows? Maybe at some point we just see him, he's walking fine. He's like, yeah, I had some help from Tony and all this stuff. Maybe that's not even true. Maybe Tony never did help him. Maybe he did try to help him. Maybe he gave him some stuff and it didn't work. But then the Skrull replaced him, saw that opportunity to take his spot. I don't know. Maybe it was a Skrull Rhodey in Infinity War Endgame. Who knows? Just that is kind of an interesting thought to have. But this is about the only interesting thing that comes out of that story. As far as the president's reaction, I mean, it's one of those you kind of understand because of what happened, because of the fact that his life was in danger because of these Skrulls. And I mean, really be honest, what would we do if we found out something like this was going on? It would be a scary thing. I mean, a lot of people would react very similarly, but I feel like they went really overboard with it to a sense of they're really trying to, it's almost like they're trying to make us think about our own thoughts and actions. Like, oh, look at what's happening. All these people are dying because they're scared of this thing. And I just have to look at it and go, okay, but this is not the same as our real life world. We're not dealing with there are aliens living among us. At least not that we know of, but that's not what we're dealing with. A lot of the fear and unknown that we deal with in our world is not on this scale. So to try to compare the two, not really the same thing. Because that's real. They felt like they were trying to push toward that idea of, oh, look at all these people acting out of fear and people are getting hurt because of it, because the president did this awful thing and left this awful message full of hate and fear. Two very different things, though, let's be honest. But yeah, it kind of leaves this whole show, though, on a bit of a sour note where it doesn't really end on a happy note. You know, all of these Skrulls are still living among them. You're not sure which ones are good, which ones are bad. All these people are going around shooting people because they think they might be a Skrull. Everybody's living in terror because of it. It's not really a good place to end this show on. But that is where they end it, with at least as far as that story is concerned, because that's not the true ending of the show. I'll get to that in a minute. But outside of the president's speech, we also see Sonya recruiting Gaia for something. All of these machines with people hooked up. I'm guessing this is something to do, because Talos talked about how there were 1 million Skrulls on Earth. So I guess this is all the people that they've replaced. I find that kind of weird, because I think Talos would have known something about this. So maybe he didn't tell Fury about it. Maybe this happened during the blip, after the blip. I don't know. But it seems kind of weird. They just showed all of these bodies, and that was kind of it. That we didn't really get much more information outside of that. So I'm guessing there's still a faction of Skrulls that are out there that are going to be trying to do evil stuff, that maybe still believe in what Gravik's trying to do. It just felt like a weird place to end this story, and it's why, honestly, I'm still keeping that this is season 1 of Secret Invasion, because it does sort of feel like they're leaving it open for, I don't know if they'd call it Secret Invasion or not, but it does feel like this story is not done yet. I just don't know what they plan to do, and honestly, I kind of don't care to think about it. Getting to the true ending of this show, because, yeah, we could have ended it with a story about the Skrulls. We could have ended it where their story is now, how things are kind of messy, but maybe there's some hope on the horizon because you've got somebody in Gaia who can step up and lead. She's got some of her father, but she's also got something else that makes them a bit stronger, and I don't know, something like that. No, we're not going to end on a happy note for them. Their story is still completely in the shitter. No, we're going to end with Fury and with Priscilla, because it's all about them, guys. Their little romance that is just the most romantic thing in the world. We had to end this show, and all the audience felt absolutely nothing because they didn't give us enough time with them. So yeah, what a great place to end the show. I mean, this is some CW bullshit, dude. Like, I'm used to seeing this stuff on The Flash, on Arrow, all of those types of shows where it's clearly written for like young adults who just want to see who's gonna get with who and all of that. That's what this felt like. This did not feel like a true romantic story. When I think about Endgame ending with Cap dancing with Peggy, that scene hits hard because they were a good couple. We got a good amount of time with them. We got to see, not just in Captain America, we got to see him with older Peggy, and we got to see how it affected when she was gone, and we got to see him see her when they traveled back in time. Like, it had less time, I think, than Fury and Priscilla, but I feel like they still gave us more somehow. I don't know how they did, but I feel like they gave us more with them. And it was a story that really did hit home because a lot of what he went through in his movie with Peggy, it kind of made sense why he made that choice. I felt for that. When his story ended going back to her, it made sense and I felt for it. This show ends after a whole season of just all this meandering around this idea of the Secret Invasion and the Skrulls and all that, and it ends with Fury and Priscilla as they're going to negotiate with the Kree to see if maybe there can be a peace treaty. That's what this has been leading to? No! This came out of nowhere. She wasn't even in the first 2 episodes. At least not until the end of the second one, I think. Or was it the third one? I don't even remember now. Because that's how little I cared about that story. It felt so out of left field. It felt like it was thrown in just to give Fury something else, like another story to have for this season. It was so unnecessary. So ultimately, this show was an epic fail. Like I said, I was really looking forward to it when I heard about the idea. I thought it was a clever idea. I thought it was something that they could really do something interesting with, and they just didn't. They absolutely did not do anything interesting with this idea. The most interesting thing was, okay, so Rhodey might have been a Skrull for a while now. He might have been a Skrull since after the events of Civil War. That's the only interesting thing that comes out of this. Everything else, I feel nothing for this. Gaia is now the most powerful being that lives, and I don't care. I don't care about her. I don't care about her story. Fury and Priscilla, I don't care about their romance. They've not done anything to get me to care about these characters because so many of these stories felt thrown in, felt rushed, felt absolutely meaningless. I mean, like I said, for Gravik, villain of the week. He came in, he had a plan, he wanted to make humanity extinct. They stopped his plan, he's gone. He's the reason Maria Hill is dead. The woman who's been with us for a large majority of the MCU is dead in the spin-off show, who probably a lot of people aren't even going to watch it, because I don't know how many people cared to watch it. She got killed by some villain of the week, and that was it. It didn't spur Fury on to really get focused and get better and try to figure out what Gravik is doing. And no. He just moped about it for a little bit. And then finally, by the end of the season, he was like, all right, I guess now I'll finally be the Nick Fury that is one step ahead and can solve these problems and can win the day. Meaningless death. I cannot believe they killed off such a major character in the MCU for nothing, really. For absolutely nothing. It feels like they wanted that to be a big death just to really get people to be like, what? Oh my gosh, she dies in the first episode? But I don't think anybody felt that way because people were too confused, first of all, by the scene itself, but also, who is this guy, Gravik? Why do we care about this? Like, you have to make us care, and you didn't do it. That's about all of my thoughts for this season. I obviously am very frustrated for many reasons. I feel like I'm not alone, unfortunately, and I hate the fact that they got me excited for something post-Endgame that they absolutely failed. They failed to keep their promise of what they were giving me in the previews. They didn't keep their promise. So now I'm going to try to make humanity extinct because of these people. That makes sense, right? I'm still a little upset about Gravik's motives as well, because it's so simplistic and stupid. But anyways, with all of that being said, though, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What were your thoughts on these last 2 episodes and on this season as a whole? Let me know. We could talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Marvel reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of TV show reviews as well as a couple Let's Plays on there, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.